Are you negotiating or are you negating? Are you negotiating a better price, a better investment in your services? Or are you negating and are you going down, down, down? Are you in a race to the bottom for your services, which you should never be? You should be branded, you should be the authority in your niche, you should be serving high net worth individuals, and then you should be getting a testimonial and great photos and great content to share with your marketplace once you've got that. So, negotiation. This is what I call negotiation. Agreement without argument. And you might say, well, how do you ever achieve that? There's an argument, you have to have debate, but at the end of the day, once arguments start, you end up in the other three A's, aggression, abuse, or abrupt, which is really, really crappy communication styles. You've got to be able to negotiate a higher price, not negate your price, and not negotiate against yourself, which is the weirdest thing that can happen, which happens to all of us, especially when we're not confident, we're not comfortable to ask for a higher price point. Now, how do you negotiate? How do you ask for a higher price point? Well, the first thing is you've got to understand psychology. I do a lot of organisational psychology. I'm psychology trained. I love psychology. Psychology is where it's at for me. You've got to know the psychology of negotiation, the psych behind it. And to understand the psych behind it, all you really need to do is you ask yourself, is this person a left brain or a right brain? And that comes from my coach, JT Fox. Shout out to JT. Are you a left brainer or are you a right brainer? Is the person you're negotiating with left brain? If they are, you're going to have to give them more detail. If they're right brained, they're more conceptual, they're more creative. So you've got to lean into the value that they're getting around that creative side. That's the first thing. Then, and I've just alluded to it then, the next thing is value. Negotiate on value. It's the only way to negotiate. So you've got to know what your prospect, your client, your lead wants. What do they value? Do they value the workmanship, or do they value the look at the end of it? Do they value working with you and that personal contact? What value are you providing? Not the service, not the product, not the carpentry, but what value, what elevates your offer? And then, so that's number two. So the first thing is understand psychology. Number two is always negotiate on value. And if people want to drop the price, I always say don't discount. And there's times when you might have to come down a little bit, but at the end of the day, you say, okay, well, what are you going to give me for that? So in other words, they might not have been giving you a testimonial before this. And so you might say, well, look, I really want to put this whole job on social media. So I'm happy to, I don't even like the word discount, reduce the investment level if you allow me to do this. And that way you get value as well. So there's a whole range of ways where you can have this conversation, where you can get an agreement without argument. But it's about value, because at the end of the day, you value some stuff as well. Now, the third thing is never negotiate against yourself. Never get into that, I could do it for this, because that's what it sounds like. Be firm, be solid, have a point you won't go below when you go into any negotiation. And that's it, that's absolute. And you know what? Be prepared to walk away. I know that sucks. And you probably don't want to hear that. You have to be prepared, willing to actually say, you know what? Maybe this deal isn't for me. Team, negotiate to win. Negotiate by the highest price you can get. Psychology, value, and never negotiate against yourself.